Imagine you are mid-game on Texas Chainsaw Massacre and boom, disconnect error message. Now that sounds like a stupid question, right? So what you might be thinking is, what could be good about DC penalties? Well, for one, to keep players from disconnecting. Players disconnect from the game, which ruin other gamers' experience. And that could lead to people actually not wanting to play the game, as well as DC penalties causing people not to play the game. DC penalties is supposed to minimize how many people decide to quit the session, because quitting the session and getting into another game and you don't like that character that you get and you quit again, it ruins the game pace, game experience for other players. People are selfish these days, so they're not thinking that way. And also, if you quit a session before, obviously you was upset because you didn't get your character, or you upset because your team wasn't playing the objective. There's a number of reasons. So you get a DC penalty, you get a cooldown period. In Modern Warfare, there's a cooldown period of, I think, about 3 minutes or so. So I looked up Dead by Daylight reasons for the penalties, and they had this to say: our objective with the disconnection penalty is to discourage players from quitting games and serve the double purpose of denying immediate access to players who are already in a negative mental state from re-entering the matchmaking until they had a chance to cool down, which I believe is a good reason to have DC penalties. Later in the video, I am going to share why I do not fully agree with what Dead by Daylight taking into consideration when the DC penalty will be used. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking DC penalties can ruin Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're off to a good start. Why would we want that in the game? Well, for one, I don't think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if they decide to implement DC penalties, will take much of a hit, because the beta went so well. I don't think that will take away from what could happen for the future of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just like Modern Warfare, they have a DC penalty in their ranked game mode, and yet people still playing the ranked game mode. I think as long as you got a good product, the players will understand what the DC penalty can do and what it do not do, and it's just something you'll have to get over and deal with. Dead by Daylight, still a popular game, people still playing it, and it has DC penalties. Why can't that happen with Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And if you know you're gonna get a disconnection penalty, why would you disconnect from the game? Especially if you already disconnected once before. Why would you disconnect again? Now you just ruin the experience for everybody. If you're gonna disconnect and disconnect again, you might as well just stop playing the game and go on to something else. And yes, players could go and play another game. I don't think that's going to happen to the degree that people think is going to happen, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if they deliver, improve upon what the beta gave us, you're not going to go anywhere. What's going to happen is you're going to stop disconnecting and just play the game to either rank up your character, learn the map, just to go for the kills, or just to find new high spots from the family. So there's multiple ways you can flip the script when it comes to a bad session. Now, what could be Texas Chainsaw Massacre levels of penalties? According to Dead by Daylight, their disconnection reasons I do not fully agree with. They stated this: anything that results in you leaving the match will count as a disconnection. This include, but not limited to, turning off your PC/console, disconnecting from the internet, closing the game, or leaving a match through leave match button. The way, and the reason why they give this is because it's crucial for the system not to be exploited, is why they are counting anything of you leaving the match as a disconnection mid-match. And I understand that, but I also do understand that stuff do happen that result in a disconnection due to a bad connection, bad internet service, your baby came unplugged the game, who knows? So I came up with my own levels of disconnection for Texas Chainsaw Massacre if they do want to implement that into the game. First offense will be just a warning, because like I said, stuff do happen, which I think is fair. You get into a bad lobby, disconnection happened, it wasn't you. I think you should get a red warning sign saying, hey, you disconnected. We don't know why, but we just want to let you know, you do it again, there will be further consequences. You get into another lobby, it's not who you want, etc., etc. 2-minute timeout, you want to disconnect. Okay, give it some time, go get a drink, go, refresh your mindset, whatever you need to do, get back into the game. Now, if you do it a third time, now you just playing around. And I think you should get a 5-minute timeout for it, because you're ruining the game experience, the game flow. Obviously, you don't know what character you're looking for, or obviously the character you want is a hot topic and you can't get it. So why should everybody else suffer for that? They shouldn't. Now, I don't like the penalty of losing rank, because people work hard for their rank or for the level of experience they get, because you're grinding away at a game. I don't think you should have that taken away due to a disconnection. In that point, I do think people would start looking at other games to play, and it could shrink the community. Anything that could do with you losing how much work you put into the game, that should not be touched. So I do think DC penalties is good for the game to help people from exploiting the disconnection and jumping into another game, because how Texas Chainsaw Massacre is set up, you only allowed to pick one victim. There's no doubles. So if a gamer get into a game session and they don't get their character, or they decide to try a new character, it's not working out, tough luck. Learn how the character play, or just suffer your disconnection penalty. And if you look down the line, asymmetrical horror games, or any game for that matter, do have a drop off of people's interest. So if you have played asymmetrical horror games, there sometimes can be hard to find a lobby to play with. So if you have a disconnection penalty, the people you're going to link up with in a game session is most likely going to stay, because who knows how many times they disconnected, or they know that disconnecting will have a bad penalty. Therefore, you will have more lobbies flowing and will mess up the game experience for you. Now, again, will Texas Chainsaw Massacre have DC penalties? I don't know. But if it does, we do want it to be fair. Disconnection penalty is a big deal. Let me know down in the comment section how you feel about disconnection penalties, or if you're okay with disconnection penalties being in the game. Let me know what you think the level of punishment should be. Remember to subscribe for more game information on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It will help the channel, and welcome to Mr. Unleashed World.